Transformers, robots in disguise. You could make a perfect Transformers movie just with your toys. Transformers, directed by Michael Bay, and is the first installment of the decade-long running infamous Michael Bay Transformers franchise. So Transformers tells the very simple and basic story of the Allspark, which is in a cube and is one of the most important artifacts to Cybertron, the world of the Transformers, and it falls to Earth, which brings the war between the Autobots and the Decepticons to Earth, and Sam Witwicky and his girlfriend Michaela also get caught up in this, which leads to a epic battle that will determine the fate of not just Earth but Cybertron too. Now, before I see Transformers 5 The Last Knight, which I'm not looking forward to since it's been critically panned and as one of the worst movies of 2017, I decided what better time to look back on all of the 5 Transformers movies. I will be reviewing the first 4 before my review of the 5th film, and it's no secret that 10 years later Michael Bay's first Transformers film is still easily his best. Yeah, I have always had nostalgic memories and have always defended and thoroughly enjoyed this movie. It's just a near perfect summer blockbuster. It's a simple, great fun action popcorn flick with the most basic story you could think of, and that's all these movies should be. It's a shame the sequels haven't gotten that right. I know most of the Transformers movies are awful and some of the worst summer blockbusters ever made, and they're the only reason that this franchise has gained the shitty reputation that it has, because of the sequels, but this first film has held up the best. This is the kind of movie Michael Bay should always be making, and for the first live-action Transformers movie, this is pretty much how you would envision it. So yeah, Michael Bay at least put the most effort into this one, and this was the one where he actually got it right. So it's easily up there with the 1986 animated Transformers the movie as an adaptation that at least honours the cartoon as best it can. I mean, this is not a perfect movie, nor one of the greatest of all time. I know there are some critics and audiences who still hate the first Transformers. I can respect your opinion if you do, but at the same time, I think you're being a little harsh. I mean, I don't think the first Transformers is that bad at all. I'd take this one over all the sequels combined any day. Right off the bat, the best thing about this movie are the Transformers themselves. The title characters, Optimus Prime being my all-time favourite. I have my merchandise of him. I am obsessed with this guy. He's just an epic character. He's a great leader. He gives the awesome inspirational speech in the opening and the end of all of these movies. He may not get the most screen time, but he always gets the most iconic moments, and Peter Cullen has one of the most awesome voices ever. Yeah, Peter Cullen does not get the credit that he deserves for this role. He is Optimus Prime. You can't recast it. And fun bit of trivia for you guys, Peter Cullen is also the voice of Eeyore from Disney's Winnie the Pooh. That's so no wonder they chose him. And Bumblebee is also one of my favourite Transformers. He's always been one of the hearts of these movies. He forms the most emotional connection with our human protagonists, and yeah, he's just so lovable and laid back. And the other Transformers, like the other Autobots such as Iron Eyes, they are pretty good too. At least they have charm to them in this film, and they get stuff to do, unlike in the sequels where they're totally wasted, but I'll get to them in future reviews. And as for the antagonists on the Decepticon side, Megatron makes for one beast of a villain in this movie. He's actually a hard opponent to beat for Optimus Prime in the climactic battle, unlike in the sequels where he totally sucks balls as the villain, serves no purpose. But here he's great, as are the other Decepticons like Starscream. And I love how the movie incorporates the classic backstory of the War for Cybertron when Megatron betrayed the Autobots and started the whole war, and now they're looking for the Allspark. So this movie at least included the Transformers backstory into the main story, which was the perfect decision. And at least since this is a simplistic good versus evil narrative, you can actually tell who's who. You can tell who are Autobots and who are Decepticons, and who you should be rooting for. I know everybody hates on the human characters in these movies, saying how they take up way too much screen time, which they do have a point, they do. In this film, to say the human characters were bad, I think, is a little exaggerating, but so there were two human characters that I did like. I will talk about the other human characters and my couple of negatives I have with the film. The only two I did have a soft spot for were Shia LaBeouf as Sam Witwicky and Megan Fox as Michaela. Shia LaBeouf has been annoying in other movies, and while he's not so great here, he's at least okay. At least he's having fun with the role and does form an emotional connection with the Transformers. And same goes for Megan Fox. I say to her haters, leave her alone. I don't think she's that bad. I'm sure Michael Bay just cast her because she's hot, and he does show a lot of shots of her body, particularly when she's leaning over the car. But at least, again, she's trying, and she does form an emotional connection with the Transformers. So those were the only two human characters that were necessary in the movie. And I actually brought her romance with Sam more than Rosie Huntington-Whiteley in Dark of the Moon. Unpopular opinion, but she's my favourite of the girls in these movies so far. And of course, one of the strongest aspects of this movie is action. It's a Michael Bay action summer blockbuster, and this movie helped make his mark as a big budget filmmaker, because before this he did very low budget action movies. While most of the movie's action is saved until the end, it's worth the wait. I always found the action to be the most awesome of the Transformers series in this film. This is where Michael Bay does it best. At least it's not predictable in the action. At least there's tension. You're worried about who's gonna live and who's gonna die. At least the action's the right length and never drags, and it's the right size. It's not too bloated or overblown. It's just we get a rollickingly great highway chase, and the spectacular and sensational city battle at the end. Yeah, and this, especially the opening, which is an underrated action scene. That is one of the coolest openings to a summer movie I've ever seen. And even the visual effects are a triumph. Not many directors can do visuals like Mr. Bay can. Blimey, the visual effects still look the most refined and beautiful to this day. This is the prettiest of the Transformers movies to look at, and at least the CGI doesn't look like shit here. They gave us some weight to it, and when you take into account that this was the first time they had to create the Transformers and put them on the big screen, have them transform into cars, it's still blows your mind 10 years later how they accomplished that. And the movie's the perfect length as well. It's one of the shorter Transformers movies with a running time of only 2 hours 20 minutes. It's one of the quickest summer blockbusters I've ever watched. because the narrative establishes all of the characters in the first act. In the second act, it introduces the conflict, and the third act, it just cuts straight to the action that we came to see in this movie, which makes it by far the most perfectly paced Transformers movie. It's even the most tonally consistent Transformers movie. It appeals to all ages, so it's a great summer movie to take your kids to see. And I even got a kick out of the epic awe-inspiring soundtrack. Yeah, the soundtrack to this movie, it's kind of underappreciated. Make sure you stay for the credits, because there's always a Linkin Park song in the end credits in a Transformers movie to look forward to. The What I've Done song is my favourite song of the five that Linkin Park has composed. It's the catchiest. But the thing that's overlooked about this movie most of all is surprisingly its message. I didn't expect it to go that deep, but it did. It's really delved into Optimus Prime's motivations on how, despite the other Transformers and the other Autobots and the Decepticons seeing no good in humanity when they want to turn Earth into the new Cybertron, Optimus sees redeeming qualities to the humans. He sees the good in them, and that's actually a beautiful message, that we as humans may not be perfect, we still have much to learn, but there's always good in us. There is more to us than meets the eye, as he explains. Oh, but for all I'm praising this movie, it is not without its faults. I'm afraid the other human characters, some of them are so obnoxiously annoying. They not only that, but they don't do anything. They could have totally been edited out of the movie. They are just there for Michael Bay's freaking comic relief. I'm afraid this still has some of the bad traits of a typical Michael Bay movie, which is a shame. And while I liked some of the humour, the other half of it, not so much. Particularly the part where Bumblebee just pisses all over John Turturro, and Optimus is like, "Bumblebee, stop lubricating the man." Oh, Michael Bay, what were you thinking when you put that in there? And the other annoying human characters range from Sam Witwich's parents, which are the worst characters in these movies, or one of the worst at least. I cannot stand them. And as for John Turturro, he's at least tolerable in this movie. Shame what they did to him in Revenge of the Fallen, but at least they improved him in Dark of the Moon. But the biggest problem with Transformers is that, just like in most of them, the Transformers appear a little late in the film. They could have appeared earlier. Optimus Prime and co don't appear until literally the second half of the movie. But with all that said, I still really enjoy Michael Bay's first Transformers. It is a highly enjoyable, energised and a fun, simple summer blockbuster, and my personal favourite of the franchise. I can't comprehend how the sequels couldn't be as good as this one. And the critics agree. They have at least given this movie a 57% on Rotten Tomatoes, so they still don't love it, but they're kinder to it than all the others. Michael Bay, if you're watching this, this is proof that you can make a good movie when you put your mind to it and try. I give Transformers 4 stars out of 5. And did I mention, be prepared for a shit ton of explosions, because it's a Michael Bay movie. So this will be the most optimistic Transformers review of the 5, I am sure. Well, I love you guys, thank you for watching, I hope you guys enjoyed this review, and what do you think of Transformers? Please comment, let me know, please like this video and subscribe, and please give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and please follow me on Twitter and on Google+, and I'll see you all next time when I review its inferior, crappy sequel, Revenge of the Fallen, which should never have been made. I'll see you then. Bye, guys.